Hi guys, it's Debbie from What's Mama Cooking For Us, and today I'm going to make some Italian cookies. My mom used to make these every year, and I love these cookies. They're one of my top cookies that I like to have every Christmas. I don't know why we don't make them all year long, but okay, so let's go over the ingredients. We need a quarter cup of Crisco, which is this Crisco here. I buy them in the little packs like that. And we're going to need a half a cup of sugar. For the flour, we need 2 cups of flour, a half a cup of milk, a quarter teaspoon of salt, and 2 eggs, and 3 teaspoons of baking powder. So, and for, these are called Anise Cookies, but I couldn't get Anise online. I tried ordering it through the Walmart app, but I should have tried to go somewhere else and get it, but I wasn't able to. So I'm just going to use almond and vanilla. So for the vanilla, you need a half a teaspoon, and then normally it would be anise. So if you want to do anise, if you have it, you would use 1 teaspoon. And then you just set your oven to 375, and they cook for 10 to 12 minutes. And I'm going to get everything set up, and let's get started. Get your eggs at room temperature. And it's always good to have all your items out at room temperature. So I took my milk out and my eggs. Okay, so for our dry ingredients, I have the two cups of flour, a quarter teaspoon of salt, and you need 3 tablespoons of baking powder. So there's 1. And there's a little lift right there for you to get it. There's 2. And 3. Simple, simple. Just, you can whisk this or sift this, but I just usually take a whisk and kind of go like that just to make sure everything's incorporated. And okay, and then just set that to the side, and then we'll start on the wet ingredients. Okay, I just wanted to let everyone know, because I had an issue with my one video where I was making frosting, and I used this Crisco, and they don't understand or didn't understand what this product was. They kept asking me if it was cream cheese. But this is called Crisco shortening sticks. And they come in these sticks like this, and it's like vegetable oil, only a solid. So it's Crisco. A lot of older recipes call for Crisco, and nowadays they more use butter, but it depends, you know, on the recipe. But I'm just going to go with the Crisco, which you could probably use butter or oil. But so just so you know, it's shortening sticks. And it has a measuring things right on it. So I just did it just like the butter. Cut it right there at the 4 tablespoons, because it's half a cup, sorry. Oh, wait. Yeah, quarter cup. Let me make sure. Yeah, a quarter cup, sorry. Okay, so, and then I have my 2 eggs, and I'm just going to beat those up slightly. You don't have to, because they're going to get beat in the mix anyway, but I just like to get them started. And then I have my, alright, I got to pick this up without losing it. My quarter teaspoon of vanilla. And then here I have the teaspoon of almond, but you can replace that with anise, because these are considered anise cookies, but like I said, I don't have the anise. So I have my Crisco in the bowl, and I just kind of soften it up a little bit. It's already as soft as can be, you know. It's like almost like room temperature butter. It's very soft, but just so you can see. And then you just have to put a half a cup of sugar. And I keep a half a cup right in my sugar thing, so it works out perfect. Half a cup of sugar. And then our eggs. Make sure you get all that in there, because all those flavorings are in there. And then you're just going to give this a mix. Alright, so you can use an electric mixer, but I just choose to do mine by hand. But you're going to have to do a lot of beating to make sure you get this all good and incorporated. So I'm going to go off camera so you don't have to be shaking for the whole time. Okay, so I mixed it for about a minute, And then you just want to take your spatula and go around the sides and just make sure you're getting everything underneath and get it all in there. So I beat that for about a good minute. So you can see just how simple this recipe is. I mean, it's just taken us a few minutes. I just went off camera to stir that just so, you know, you guys didn't have to sit through all that. And it only took me a minute or two. And then what you do is you take your dry ingredients and add them in a little at a time. And then a little bit of the milk, like a half or a third. You can do it in halves or thirds, it doesn't matter. But just make sure you get everything mixed good. That way the flour gets mixed in there good and no clumps. Simple, simple. It's a simple, simple recipe. And then more flour. And then a little bit more milk. And just mix again. These cookies are so good, you guys, and they smell so good. But I promise, if you like anise, try it with the anise. Okay, and it's starting to tighten up really good now. So we're going to put the rest of our flour. Trying to do this with one hand, of course. And the rest of our milk. And clean as you go, guys. Pick up your mess. Put everything away as you go, as you're done using it. And what I like to do is I like to keep all my baking supplies in a certain area. So all I have to do is walk over there, grab this, grab that, grab one of these. And that way, you know, making cookies or desserts isn't like a big chore. You know, because you got to fight with things in the cupboards to get everything out and down. I keep all my baking stuff together. I keep my baking spices in a separate area and my cooking spices in a different area so I don't have to look very far. And clean down the sides of your bowl. And I'm cleaning as I go. I'm putting away, you know, the mess. So now all I'll have left to do is these bowls to wash after I put these in the oven. So let me get this continued mix and I'll come right back. Got that all mixed up. And you should look like this. Just like a cookie batter. Almost like, you know, almost any... Oh, that's my oven telling me it's ready. And then you just drop them by spoonfuls. Or you can roll them into balls if you want. But I think they look prettier. I can't really do this with one hand. But you just use another spoon and let it drop. There, see? It's just that simple. They don't really rise and... spread much, so you can put them next to each other. And you can basically do any size that you choose. Just make sure they're all the same size for the cooking time. So all big or all small, you know, whatever you choose. And they don't have to be perfect. So let me get these lined up for you and I'll show you. Alright guys, they're ready to go in the oven. You can actually roll these in your hand. It's a sticky batter, but you could actually roll these in your hands and make them perfectly round, but I like the different shapes and textures of them that'll come out because, you know, they're homemade. They don't have to be perfect. And we're going to frost them, so I'm going to get the frosting ready and show you guys how to make that. Okay, so they just came out of the oven. They actually took 8 minutes. I forgot, these ones I made a little bit small, and then the next batch I'll show you I made a little bit bigger. But you just want them to be a little brown on the bottom like that. And they're not going to brown on top. And you just want to take them off your sheet. And you can use not wax paper, parchment paper if you want. But I don't find the need for it. Put them on a cooling rack, let them cool. And then we'll start the frosting. So all the cookies are done. Now these little smaller ones are about the size you're supposed to make them. But I like to make some bigger. So the bigger ones took about 9 to 10 minutes, and the smaller ones were 8 minutes. I know in the beginning I said 10 to 15 minutes, but I don't know, that wasn't right. These are my mother's old recipes, and sometimes they, you know, they vary a little bit, depending on what size you make them. So these ones you can see are quite bigger than the other ones, and they just have a nice bottom. But so I got 24 cookies, but you could probably get 36 if you do them all the small way. So for the frosting, I have a cup of confectioner's sugar or powdered sugar, a tablespoon and a half of water, a quarter teaspoon of the vanilla, and a quarter teaspoon of the almond. But you could use all anise so that you'll get the anise flavor. And I've already put those in there. And let's put our water in. We might not need all the water, so you go slow at first. And you can use milk as well, but for a glaze like this, we usually use water. But you can use milk. And just stir it really good. And we got a lot of snow here in upstate New York today, so it's a cold day. But now with my oven on, it's nice and toasty in here. I'm going to add the rest of that water, which was a tablespoon and a half. It looks like we might even need a little bit more. It depends. Powdered sugar can be funny. Let me stir some of this a little off camera so I can get a better go at it. So this is how it should be, like a glaze like that. So that it, you know, does like that thinness. So, oh, and I forgot, I added another tablespoon of water because it wasn't happening. So, then you just take your cookie, and these have cooled, and you just dip it in. And sometimes it doesn't cover it all the way, so dip it twice. And just put it on a paper plate, and put some sprinkles on top. And I'm going to do up a couple more. We like to do them with the little sprinkles, and we also do them with crushed walnuts on top. So I'll show you that too. Oops, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. And you can use the colored ones for Christmas. But I like them best with those ones because they just look so pretty. All right, let me do up a couple and I'll show you. Up some walnuts. Well, crushed them, not chopped, crushed. And then you just do the same thing. Dip your cookie. And if you like it around the side, go around and get it in there good. Because that icing is good. And let it drip off for a sec. And then just go like this. And make sure you got enough on there. Whoop. Trying to do this behind the camera and watch at the same time. It's hard to do. Okay, so there you have them. All right, well, let me get a plate ready and so we can just see just how delicious these are, and let's take a bite. Okay, so then just set yourself up like a little assembly line. So I'm taking them from here, dipping them in here, and glazing them, and then do up a few, and then do your sprinkles. But don't let it, take too long for it to dry. And that way they go pretty fast. And there's like almost no waste. You use up almost all the frosting. There you have them, guys. And look at that. We used it all. And this is, I said frosting, but I meant glaze. This is more of a glaze. If you want a frosting, you have to go thicker. But don't they look pretty? These are my favorites. All right, this one cracked a little, but he's going to be my test cookie. I'll sacrifice. The flavor is just so good, you guys. A little crunchy on the outside, but really soft in the inside. You got to give these a try, guys. They're so good. And look at the mess I made over here from the drip tray. You should put down paper or foil or something to pick up the drip. But hey, it's worth it. It's worth every bit of it. I was going to say every penny, but... Oh, and then usually, I don't know if we always put walnuts on them. I just like to do walnuts sometimes because I like walnuts. But walnuts are more, I would call, an expensive type of topping. So sprinkles are cheap, so, it makes it a lot cheaper to make without the walnuts. And there's not, a lot of goodies inside the cookie and stuff. So these are like a cheaper type of cookie. And then we were talking about the shortening earlier. Now, if you find your old recipes from your grandparents, parents, and the recipe calls for oleo, it says on the recipe, that means Crisco as well. So they might have that written, but you could use butter or the Crisco. But I hope you guys give these a try. Now stay tuned. I plan on, I'm not positive, I'm going to do a biscotti recipe with cranberries and pistachios. Oh, and I can't wait. I want to do a gingerbread and couple other cookies, or desserts for Christmas. And so stay tuned, and I hope everyone's doing okay. And just, be blessed, guys. Make sure you subscribe if you like this channel, and hit the like button. Show me support, and be blessed. Merry Christmas.